Hey guys, welcome back to Learn Python the Hard Way. Today we're going to focus on exercise 9, which is another exercise on printing. This is actually the first exercise of that book that is not available for free. Of course, you can again just follow the link in the description, but you would actually need to buy the book in order to access that page. Alternatively, of course, feel free to just follow along. So in this chapter, we're going to focus on printing. And also in the previous exercise, of course, we did an exercise on that, but this is just to re-emphasize that concept and add some additional concepts to it, basically. So let's get started and let's open a new terminal window, which we can do on a Mac by pressing Command and Space key and then typing in terminal. If you're on a Windows computer, of course, you can instead use a separate application for that to access the terminal as well. Now, from within the terminal, we're going to navigate to the folder that we created, and now we can create a new Python file for that exercise. I'm going to use Visual Studio Code, and therefore I'm going to type in code, which stands for Visual Studio Code, followed by the name of the exercise. So in this case, exercise9.py for Python. Once we press enter, that's gonna open a new Python file and we can start typing it out and following along with the exercise. So let's get started by adding a comment at the top of the file. And after that, we can start out by defining, first of all, a variable called days, which includes the different days of the week, all separated by a space. And then after that, we can type out a variable that holds a different month. And so after each month, we have a \n, which is basically a new line that is introduced. And once we execute that, actually, each of those entries, for example, January and February, will be printed out in a separate row. Alright, so now we defined the days and the months variable, and now we can get started with a print statement. By entering the print statement, and then after the string that we enter, we can enter the variable days. So that we're going to print here are the days, colon, and then the days variable will be inserted with the various days of the week. Next, we're going to add another print statement here. And here we're going to print out the various month. Again, the variable that we defined above. But here, of course, within that variable, we typed \n to insert a new line character, basically after each month here. And finally, we're going to add another print statement, this time with 3 quotation marks. And then we're going to add a multi-line comment. And if we use those 3 quotation marks, then we can add multiple lines of code in here. Basically as many as we like. And then to end this code, we would add again 3 quotation marks. And we can see that these parentheses here are actually now displayed in white, meaning that now the quote is basically finished. So everything within those 3 quotation marks is a string, and then the string is ended by basically entering those 3 quotation marks. All right, let's save that and let's head over to our terminal, and here we can type in Python 3.6 followed by the name of the exercise, the name of the Python file. And if you press enter, then this code is printed out, and if we compare that to the solution here, these are basically the same entries. So we can see here the first print statement prints here are the days, followed by the string that is included in this days variable. So we have Monday through Sunday, which is printed out here. On the other side, if you take a look at the months statement here, the second print statement, we can see that it prints out here are the months, and then it prints out all the various months, but each of them on a separate row, because we inserted the \n character, which inserts a new line in here. And then finally we printed out those 4 rows here, and here of course we used the 3 quotation marks to mark this as the beginning of the print statement, the beginning of the string, and the end of the string. And there are a couple of common student questions. Why do we get an error when I put spaces between the 3 double quotes? So basically, if I do this, we can already see that in this case the color of the text changes, so it's no longer considered a string, but actually it separates the separate words out. So if we save this and we run this one more time, then we get a syntax error here, and the reason for that is that there should basically be no spaces between each of those 3 double quotes. Only then will it be considered a string in its entirety. The second question, what if I wanted to start the month on a new line? If we wanted to do that, then we would basically insert a \n character also at the very beginning before January. So if we take a look at this one more time, currently we have the first month, January, on the same line as here the month. And if you want to start January off in the second line here, then what we need to do is we need to insert an additional \n character. And now as we run this one more time, we can see that January is now in a separate line. So we have separated that out. So we can simply insert a new line. Is it bad that my errors are always spelling mistakes? Most programming errors in the beginning and even later are simply spelling mistakes, typos, or getting simple things out of order. So we should just get over it and get familiar with the syntax. So that's it for exercise 9, and see you guys in the next video with exercise 10.